Yes, thank you.
Okay, I will read the public input statement. The first public input session is a 21-minute session with each person having no longer than 3 minutes in which to make a statement. But a second public input session may be held at the end of the meeting if allowed by the board chair. The speaker will give his/her name, address, and reason for speaking. Public input is designated for district residents, but the board chair may grant non-residents the opportunity to address the board. Statements concerning subject matter that falls under the law regarding executive sessions, for example, matters involving personnel, cannot be made during public input. Do we have any public input?
Denise, can you hear okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
No public input? No public input. All right. We're going to go to the minutes of January 6th. January 6th. Anybody see anything needs to be changed?
Didn't put anything on with it earlier.
Wow.
I didn't see anything either.
Are we all set? Okay, okay, then a motion to pass.
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
Is that you?
Yeah.
A second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor of approving the minutes of January 6th? I'll vote. Okay, student report.
It's not here, so we'll follow up with the student. The student's not here,
Oh,
so we'll just
okay.
follow up,
Okay.
just to make sure that things are okay.
Okay, we have donation to the backpack program.
Okay, we have a $2,000 donation from Army Service to the backpack program, and this is done, the employees that have some remaining vacation time can turn it in for donation to go, so that the 2,000 is for the backpack program.
And we have to vote to accept.
You do need to vote because of the.
So 500. Yep. So what does Omni Service do, just because I'm curious?
They have hose and accessories for big vehicles and companies. Yes, so somebody who used to work in the district
Oh,
has a parent who works there, and that's how that connection has remained.
That's a lovely connection.
Yes,
Certainly thank that for that.
yes.
Somebody would like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the donation for the backpack program.
Second? Take it easy. All those in favor? 5. All right, financial summary for December, which I think we got emailed, right? I believe you did.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Everybody have that?
So,
Okay. We are still on our trajectory. Nothing has really thrown us here on the disbursements and encumbered expenses. So we have 60% as you look down remaining. Are there any questions?
So, the food service contingency, why do we have, so is that, why do we have so much remaining in that?
So the food service contingency is only used at year end when we determine whether or not they need it. We don't automatically send that over to
Okay.
them.
Okay. Thank you, Denise. It took me all that time to find it on the line.
That's
Why you're here, Denise.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, thank you. Educational programming is next.
All right, so before we start just talking about attendance and some of the other things that we talk about typically during this session, AJ is here to kind of give us a little thumbnail on how midterms have been going because they are occurring this week. And we have kind of a proposal to ask and just run through. So AJ.
Yes. So I would say overall, things are going very, very well. Students are doing a good job. I mean, and for those folks that don't know, so our, finals or midterms, so we assign credit, half a credit students earn at the midway point in a course, and then they'll earn the other half a credit in the second half. So the midterms or finals, when the courses are at this point in the year, it's an opportunity really for students to show what they know. Because we work really hard at having students meet the standards and demonstrate what they know. And so it's not an opportunity where if a student has demonstrated they've met the standard, the final can't sink them. So I think it's an age-appropriate way to have a high-stakes opportunity, if this makes sense. So yes, it's a big deal. If you haven't met a standard, this is kind of your last opportunity to demonstrate that, yes, I can do that. But, and it certainly can affect your grade. So, if you have an A in a class and you really come in and are unable to demonstrate, your grade will drop, but it's not going to drop you below that sort of passing threshold. If you've demonstrated throughout the semester that you can do a standard, you've demonstrated you can do it. You've had multiple opportunities and you've shown that. But one thing we are seeing, and I think probably a direct result of COVID and absences, is a number of students that are absent. And it's been tricky, yet, we're really trying to work with students that if you're ill, stay home. So I would say this week we've had the most number of students who have sort of tested positive here because they're trying to come to school there, but then Ms. Creighton and her staff is doing an amazing job. Students are testing. If they test positive, they're being picked up. We're going through all those processes, but we are finding ourselves, so we're, today we just passed the midway point of the 4-day week. We had through the first 2 days, 110 to 120 students who had missed one of the 2 days, the first 2 days of finals. So that accounted for, roughly speaking, probably somewhere between 225 and 250 final exams, or obviously not all exams, but, final experiences that they've missed. So our wheels are turning that, in a typical year, typical situation during finals week, we probably have attendance that approaches 97, 98% for that week because, families, typically speaking, aren't scheduling sort of trips. There aren't opportunities where kids are out of the building, so our attendance is really high. We're, way lower than that now. So really trying to think about how do we allow students to finish the semester successfully, knowing, and I just did a really quick count, we had over 40 students today that are marked in our attendance as remote with permission, which means there's some sort of quarantine, working through that process of getting back into the building within the 5 days. So one of the things we thought a lot about it is, and we want to be really careful because our seniors posting the grades to colleges are really important. And so the tricky spot is until students get these made up and have a chance to do them, oftentimes their grade will be incomplete, which is fine, relatively speaking, if a student, in the past would have missed a day. Generally, if you were ill, you'd miss a day, you miss Tuesday, you'd probably feel better by Wednesday, you're in, but now when you're out, oftentimes you're out for the 5-day quarantine period. So we really thought about what can we do to help support students, get them across this first semester finish line without creating a ton more stress and chaos in their lives. And one of the things we thought about was having, next Wednesday as a day that could be used as a makeup day for students only in grades 9 through 12. So that's a day they could come in, use to make up finals. We're anticipating that in grades 9 through 12, again, I'm using that, 110 to 120 as of yesterday. Roughly speaking, we double it. So 200 to 250 grade 9 through 12 students would come in on Wednesday and again, we won't finish all of their finals. It's not fair to expect a student to take 4, 5, 6 finals in one day. But I think what we'd be able to do is get it to a point where it's like it has been normally, if that makes sense. Like a student could reasonably take maybe 3 of their finals. So if they happen to miss 3 days due to quarantine, they missed 5 of 6 finals or 4 of 6 finals, they could get that now down to, okay, I have to take 1 over the course of the next couple of weeks during the nighttime advisory block or during after school, I can make one up. That's manageable. If I have an incomplete, that's fine. What we want to be careful of is they're not, we don't have 50 seniors that we're sending off, or not sending off a transcript because it has 4 incompletes on it. It's not really helpful to their cause in college. So, our kind of plan and thought is there is absolutely no reason why our 8th grade students can't all attend. 8th graders don't take finals in our building, so 8th graders could run a regular Wednesday schedule. I also think we would, certainly have all of our students that have any sort of extenuating circumstances. So if it's students in our exceptional studies programs, for example, no problem. Those teachers are not tied up. It would be, sort of generally those grade 9 to 12 teachers really working to get those students across the finish line. And then, we tossed around things like, well, it makes more sense to do it on a Monday. Why do we wait till Wednesday? But the problem with Monday is anyone that tested positive after Tuesday is still in quarantine on Monday. So the only group by Wednesday that wouldn't be out of quarantine is if someone happens to test positive tomorrow. And again, they miss a day of finals. Like people in the past have missed a day of finals. I don't want to make it sound like, that's obviously a thing. But we're really worried about those kiddos that miss 3 and 4 days of finals and it's just going to be really stressful. We worry if we don't try and do something.
So the kids that are remote, they have to come to the building to take finals. Is that what you're?
The kids that are remote, oftentimes they do. Yeah, oftentimes they do.
So isn't an option for them to do stuff?
No, in a lot of cases, there's not. Sometimes there are, or parts of the final. I know, for example, a history teacher sent out, hey, you guys can watch the video that's going to lead into this, and you can write the essay, and then you'll do the part, so there's multiple parts they can do, but then parts need to happen in person.
So you're saying that 8th grade would come normally?
Yep.
And just the 9th through 12th graders that need to make up?
Yep.
Would come?
Yes, that would be our plan. And we, again, we don't want to not have everyone here, so we kind of went through all the parts and pieces of what would be possible. Who could we, could there be a remote, and there really can't even be a remote component because all of those grade 9 through 12 teachers, I've got my list of art teachers and band and there's all kinds of these performance pieces that people give. So really, truly, everyone in grade 9 through 12 would be, tied up, if you will, to get students through the finals.
And it's normally a half day, so you'll be making it a full day?
No, it would still be the Wednesday schedule.
So earlier.
So students would come in at 9:40 until 3 o'clock, just like normal. And we wouldn't, and we haven't talked a lot about it with teachers, wanted to talk with you guys first, wanted to talk to Audra and Sue first. But I think it would require, and I think folks will be fine with this, some flexibility because we won't run our typical, 7:40 to 10:25 is the first final. Like it'll be more almost triage, if you will, that if a student is able to finish, and again, sometimes finals don't take the full, 2.5 hours for all students, and especially having less students in the building, it certainly won't take that long because sometimes it's a presentation or it's part. So I think students would be able to move through, and I really think it would be reasonable for students to complete sort of 3 to 4 of those obligations in a day. So I would say a typical student of ours, probably, and we certainly have students that take 8 classes, absolutely. But I would say typical is more 6 to 7 classes that they take. So I think if a student could clear 4 of those, that's a big weight off of, okay, I've got to take care of 2 more over the next couple of weeks. I can do that. I just think it's daunting to try and complete 6 of those experiences over the next couple of weeks. And I just think it could be stressful.
So I have a couple of questions. So
Absolutely.
I think I understand the way you're laying it out, but just so that I'm clear,
Yep.
This is really only for 9 through 12th graders who have been out with quarantine over some period and missed their finals.
Yeah, and I mean quarantine and sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, whatever.
Or sickness, we have a lot of students, feeling really ill this morning, I kept them home, like that's kind of the code that gets typed in by the nurse. So not necessarily COVID, although we could find out tomorrow that I
Right.
can't get home, they're ill, is COVID, you never know.
So out sick, probably COVID, but for whatever
Sure.
reason.
Yep,
And then so I'm sorry, did you say the rest of the students would not be coming in at all, or you would be
Correct.
running with them? Okay.
would not be coming in on that day.
Okay, and then the 8th graders were also not coming in, or?
Nope, they're coming. I would prefer them to come in. I think for them, the normalcy of, it's the third day of our second semester, I think it's important. And they don't take finals, so there's no reason, there's no
So
makeup.
So do the kids, does this doesn't end up affecting, like this doesn't end up affecting the day, like number
No,
of school
right.
days or anything, because it's just it's not enough kids that would be affected, right?
Right, the percentage would be high enough throughout the district for it to count as a regular day. Yep.
I mean, I think it sounds like a really creative approach, and hopefully you'll get not another batch of kids that that can't make it, but it sounds like you've done the math on the days, and hopefully it'll work. So
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, and again, hopefully anyone, again, not that you want to think about it this way, so I hate to almost present it this way, but anyone that were to, again, also assuming that they're feeling better, that's obviously key, that's step one. But as far as quarantine were to go, anyone that happened to have tested positive Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday would be okay to be able to come back by Wednesday.
Well, I will just say good luck pulling your schedule together for that day.
It will, yes. I think one of the parts that will be to our advantage is, so a few parts. The fact that we're teamed is helpful, because I think our plan would be that, again, it's a daunting number that we will probably by the end of the week have had, I'm going to say 60 to 75 ninth graders, for example, that would have missed days over the course of these 4 days. But when you're able to break that down into, we have 3 ninth grade teams, and now you're saying there's going to be 20 to 25 students and the 4 team teachers. All right, now it feels reasonable that we can put together a plan for 25 students to clear that hurdle. So I think that will certainly work in our favor.
Yeah. Yep. That's good.
Anybody else have any questions?
Any questions?
This is something we have to vote on.
I don't think you do, we just wanted to make sure that,
You are comfortable with this?
yes.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that, so.
Okay.
Excellent.
Sounds
Kids who all got to be here, get an extra day, so.
Sure.
love it.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Kids that don't get the day off, they'll be excited.
Yes.
Okay, so some other items, just we typically run through attendance. So student attendance this week, we had a low in one building of 83, and our high was 94% present. And then staff, our low was 80%, and our high was 95. So we're definitely seeing impact to our staff. We've kind of talked through that in some of the updates that I've sent to you. As the week has gone on, it has been better. You can see the decrease in staff out. So that's really good. And we do have the new standard operating procedures, the 3 parts that we sent to you before, mask breaks outside, the fact that students and staff can come back after day 5. So from 6 to 10, they can come back, but they need to be distanced for when they're eating.
Are we able to physically do that? We
Well,
have enough space.
We need space, and it has been tough. Like the high school is implementing a little slowly just because they're in midterm, they're taking their finals. North Berwick, that's tight to start with, is having to be really creative. But everybody's been really thoughtful about how they're going to handle that and how they're going to kind of keep track of the days that students, if you're coming back on day 6 versus day 10, how does that look? So really working through some of those record keeping pieces.
Because they have to also, when they come back, be masked for recess as
Yes,
well. And
yes.
how do you know as a
Right.
teacher?
Exactly.
Recess should be.
So we needed a
What day are you
little bit of
on?
time. We needed a little bit of time to figure that out.
So
those-
we're implementing that already.
Not 100%, like I said, because like the high school here
Right.
had a different schedule this week, so yes. But by next Monday, we should be in full compliance of that piece.
Masking? Well, the outside masking as well as inside
Yes.
masking, no mask breaks is a big thing inside.
And the contact tracing,
Oh, contact
yes.
tracing, no contact.
Right.
I bet you didn't do a dance about that, you lost that.
We're still keeping, we're still letting staff know if somebody was on the bus or just for, for transparency purposes for that, so everybody's aware. We've had very good feedback from parents with that letter that went out explaining the 3 changes and how we were implementing, and just felt that we were pretty thoughtful about all different parts to that, especially the part about students needing to possibly eat away from their peers, so. Yeah. So those are our big updates for educational programming.
Is that it?
Yep, it is.
All right, employment.
We do have a new hire, and that's Nicole De Benedictus. And she is she's finishing an internship here, and she's starting to teach. If this nomination goes through, she will be starting next week. No, right before, right,
Next week.
okay, yeah. So,
CC math.
yes, Common Core,
Yep.
Thank you.
Tenth grade,
Sorry.
10th grade.
Get my acronyms right.
and she will have her bachelor's, she has her bachelor's in math, and she'll have her master's in May. So it's been very nice that she's been here all the way through.
Right.
So that's a nice piece.
So we
for
do
us.
need to vote on that.
You do, yes.
Somebody like to make a motion?
All right, go Ms. Lovejoy.
I will,
Second?
First.
Do we have a second?
Yeah.
Oh, you two with them.
I know they're on a roll.
I
There's
haven't
only
done
4
that.
people that can do it, so it's like,
That's right.
okay, all those in favor? 5.
And then we have a recent resignation for Kalani Anderson Andre from Huzzy School, 3rd grade. And that will be effective in the next couple of weeks. So we do need to accept that resignation.
Make a motion, we accept Lonnie's resignation.
Switching it up a little on me.
Wow. Second?
I second.
I think we're going way out, we're gonna give it to the man.
I was writing, I couldn't do it.
Okay.
All those in favor? Okay.
And then we have a retirement for June after school ends. And that is Lisa Corain, who has been with us for 33 years. And total for her career has 38 years of teaching. So she is currently 1st grade in North Berwick. So we do need to accept that retirement.
With regret.
With
33
regret.
years here?
33 here.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
So, yeah, a second?
Is that Ms. Lovejoy first on that one?
Yes.
Okay.
All those in favor?
And we would
With
certainly
regret.
like to congratulate Lisa.
Yeah.
and
Congratulations.
just,
Good
say
for
that,
her.
yeah,
Yep.
tremendous impact to North Berwick, so we thank her for her services.
Okay, other.
I think the other is just a couple reports out. We both watched a little bit of the basketball game this afternoon. There was a faculty, student basketball game that was
Those are
the
always
middle school.
entertaining,
It was
yes.
so fun.
It was hysterical. I have video.
Yeah.
I'll put a little clip in because there was some pie throwing as well.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
It was, that's the first time they've done it there, and they had, it was almost a full house.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, wow.
Wow, it was a good turnout,
It
yeah.
was nice. And then the middle school had chorus and band concert earlier
Yeah.
this week both of those were well attended.
Yeah.
Last week we had the
The high school band
concert here.
concert, yeah.
Yep, that was very well attended as well and really well done. So,
Yeah, it was good.
yeah, so it's nice to see those activities. Coming in. So those, any others for you, Sue?
Anybody else have any others?
Nothing.
Okay. Anybody like to make any more public input? Now's your chance.
Uh,
Then I guess we're ready to go into executive session.
Yes.
somebody'd like to make a motion for that, whatever the number is down there.
I make a motion, we go to executive session, MRSA 405-6B, labor contract discussions.
That's it.
Thank you.
Ladies, thank you for coming tonight.
Oh, it will sound.
We'll turn that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
We'll make it.